welcome to our Embark swab video. I'm just going to get on the same thing as you guys and turn on Instagram too. Can you pull up YouTube on yours so you can see those questions?
Yes.
Okay. So I just got to plug in our YouTube fam cam. I mean our Instagram fam cam. Looks like they're having a hard time getting on. Okay. Hi guys on Instagram and all of our people on YouTube that are already here. We're going to go through and we're going to do swabbing. On Instagram, I'm really sorry I can't give you guys like a write-up of what we're going to do, but we're going to cover how we're swabbing, how we've identified all the swabs to make sure that over their life and as they get a little bit bigger, when we can finally get to the stage of microchipping, that we can cover that. I'm going to have YouTube up and Instagram up on my phone so that we can see any questions and things like that that you guys may have. If you shoot me a question or whatever, then I hopefully will be able to kind of check that out for you. I'm not going to answer it in the comments. I actually have to get on a different account to go and watch the YouTube video. So it's going to just take me a second to get there. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them. The only caveat to that is that if you ask in this live, some questions that you might ask, you might not even realize they might be very complicated to answer. So it might be a little bit more difficult for us to answer them. Hi, Candy. Hi, guys. I can't wave at you either because my phone is on the other side of the room. And so what's happening right now too is we've got everybody, and some of them are milk drunk. Emily already has started a timer. If you're on YouTube, you're gonna see a weight chart in a second. I'm gonna get up and go turn that on, and you're not gonna see puppies. Gas. Okay, so for everybody that's on YouTube right now, you guys can see a weight chart. For everybody that's on Instagram, we've been plotting their weights. They get weighed at 9:30 a.m. and 9:30 p.m., sometimes a couple minutes here or there based off of their insanity. They started doubling their weights with Hellcat on the 7th or the 6th?
1 second.
Emily's going to pull it up for me. We're not humans. We started off as prepared people, and then it just all went downhill from there. This is what happens when you're puppies. You think you're prepared and then you're not.
So Hellcat doubled her weight on day 5.
Okay, so Hellcat was the first one to double her weight. She doubled her weight on day 5. The vast majority of everybody else doubled on day 6. And then our last one was Hatches.
Yes.
And he doubled on day 7. Since then, everybody has been doing really well. Typically, if you don't see a double by day 10, hi, that's today, then you would kind of start to look into some things and possibly worry about it a little bit more. Basically, just make sure everybody's still growing properly. Hi, guys. And, yeah?
Hellcat and Bogie tripled their weight this morning.
Okay, so then there you go. Hellcat and Bogie both tripled their weight. I was thinking it was going to be pretty close to that if it wasn't there already. And so that's really great too, that we've had some of them even triple their weight by day 3. Also, don't get insulted or turned off by poop talk because they're puppies. Hatches was the first one to start toddling. And if you've been watching any of our live videos or anything like that, he's legit toddling now. Not all the time, not 100%, but he is standing on all 4s and wobbling around. And a couple of the other ones have also started to kind of break that barrier. He also pooped on his own. Yay, Hatches. You might not think that's exciting. I think that's exciting and terrifying all at the same time. The next stage as far as exposing them to things, adding a potty area, different things like that all happen when they start to do those things. So you're also going to notice if you've looked at any of our pictures or videos that, hi guys, that we've actually changed our whelping area, and I'm going to take that middle wall out. So right now you guys can see Clara and you can kind of see the puppies, but I'm actually going to take that center wall out for Embark testing so that I can get in there. But I wanted you guys to be able to see all of our stuff that we have set up. So for anybody that's not familiar, I work with, the TDDP, which is the Tamaskan Dog Diversity Project. Arrow sired this litter. And if you guys want litter information, there's a litter page on our website. You can go to a link on either channel or whatever, it'll take you to our website. There's literally a page called like Litters and Dogs, and it links to Arrow. He's listed as not a guest sire, but something like that, because he's not technically my dog, but I wanted to have his information and a bio up there for you guys. So Embark is one of a few different genetic testing companies for dogs. We are partnered with them through the TDDP, and the reason that I'm mentioning that is because Emily and I basically both manage the TDDP. It was her little baby, it's her thing. But I wanted to go through, when you get an Embark kit, it usually is going to look like this. The box might be a little bit different. There are a whole bunch of different kinds of Embark kits now. But this is one of the boxes. Inside that box, you get a box like this, and it's going to have basically a sheet in it that has your swab attached to it. It's going to have directions on how to activate your kit and everything like that. There's actually like colorful stuff here that I have since cut out of my box. It also is going to have a little sheet in it that tells you how to swab your dog. It's so easy. And so you're supposed to swab for 30 to 60 seconds. Hatch is the last one off, just so you know. Everybody else is off. We're timing.
Start a timer now for everybody then.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll just keep Clara away from them. It gives you directions on how to swab your dog. You need to be swabbing them for 30 to 60 seconds. With these puppies, I might actually swab them longer, and that brings us to our setup that we've got here. I have a FedEx envelope to ship everything back to them because I want to beat all you people that are going to try and get Black Friday kits. I have no shame. I might have to hypothetically re-swab puppies in case anything goes wrong, in case we get anything contaminated. So I want to make sure that I'm getting the results in time to use them with our stuff. So I definitely don't want to be waiting on that. I'm also going to take off the weight chart in a second so that you guys can see what's going on YouTube. So YouTube people and everybody else, you're going to laugh at me. We have colored Play-Doh, and I have a cutting board, and what I'm going to do for everybody's swabs is I'm actually going to take the Play-Doh out, stick it on the cutting board, and when I open their swab, I'm going to stick it base down, swab up in the Play-Doh so that it doesn't get contaminated and I don't have to worry about having an extra hand or something to be able to do this with. I didn't want to have to worry about what we were going to do if we only got the swab in their mouth for about 10 seconds. This isn't something that I would recommend for swabbing an adult dog. You should just acclimate them to being swabbed. There's too high of a risk of contamination with an adult wiggly thing. Hi mama. But with these little puppies, I'm going to be in there with them, and there's also just a higher risk that Clara will want to come in here with them or that they'll roll around, and I don't want to distress them. So that's a whole different level of trying to make sure that they're okay and they're taken care of, and everything like that. So yeah, we're going to swab all of them. If I can get the Play-Doh open, that would probably be important. Can you let her out the back door on the leash? It's on top of the thing. Huh? Oh, shoes, yeah. And you can take her out the front door too, I don't care, but just on a leash, since she's being a turd. And so if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask while I'm doing this, because this isn't exactly the most entertaining thing that anybody's ever done.
It's playing with Play-Doh though.
Except I don't really get to play with it, I just get to do it. But so that you guys know too, I am going to take down that center wall, but I'm not going to do it until I'm in the box with them. Because then I can basically pop them to a different side of the setup, so that I know who has been swabbed and who hasn't. And then that's kind of a secondary like lineup as well. I'm trying to make sure that I keep track of everything, so we have multiple fail safes so that I can't just muck up who we swabbed and who we didn't.
Okay, come on.
But yeah. So if anybody has any questions, Embark related or otherwise, please feel free to ask. I'm flipping back and forth between YouTube and Instagram too on my phone, so that I can tell if you guys have questions. Any YouTube questions? You guys are silent. What? You guys are silent on Instagram too. Just saying. I'm judging you in your silence. And they're cutos. Are you guys cuties?
Yeah.
You guys like the bumper bed that you have now?
Yeah.
They also will all get, they're big enough now, they're going to get new collars on Monday, I think, because we're getting them to start double and tripling their weight. Say hi, Mama. What's that, babe?
What is that? Is that gnomes?
It's not. Okay, so not a dumb question. These puppies can only be wolf red or wolf gray, which I know none of them look like that would necessarily make sense. I'm gonna have Emily go through the other colors and what that means because I'm playing with Play-Doh, but she can answer that for you as well as why these guys can only be wolf red and wolf gray.
1 second. I have to look at questions.
Okay. You have what?
The questions on Instagram?
No, I have them. That was a question on Instagram.
Okay, what was the question?
It is, what are the colors for the breed? And
so,
then mine was add on why these guys can only be.
Okay. So, for the Tamaskan dog breed, Clark, come here.
Get out of there, come on.
Sorry, distraction. So for the Tamaskan dog breed, there are 3 essential colors, and they are wolf gray, red gray, and black gray. So genetically, both Clara and Arrow don't carry the genes that can produce black gray puppies. So depending on how these guys color out when they get older, they'll either be red gray like Clara and Arrow, or they will be wolf gray, which is less of that red coloring that you see on Clara. So other than that, other than the A locus, which is what's responsible for determining whether or not these guys would be able to be black gray, and the K locus can do that too, but that's not very common, and we're only seeing black gray on the K locus when we're using an outcross that is dominant black on that locus. And I'm sorry if this is getting a little bit too complex for you guys. I'm trying my best to dumb this down for you. Don't insult our people. I'm not insulting our people. So I'm sorry.
This is gonna be the sciencey chat. I dumb stuff down all the time and or just oversimplify it a lot.
But I'm not very
Emily doesn't do that very well, and then this is also the Embark feed, so you're gonna have to just be smarter today.
Right.
You guys have got it. I have faith in you.
And so for the E locus, both Clara and Arrow are capital EE, which means they can't produce cream or white puppies that you see commonly in, say, Samoyeds are cream or white. So you won't see that, and they won't be carriers for that color either. And then on the B locus, that's what's responsible for causing the liver color. So in northern breeds, you'll see huskies that are called red and white. That's liver, and these guys don't have that either. And I think that's pretty much it for color code genetics. If you guys have any questions, just ping us on the live chat.
Yeah, you can shoot us another question, or you can be like, I need more help with that, and we'll definitely take care of it. We just might PM you an answer or do like a specialty post about it later. So you guys can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm gonna show you guys in a second. I'm taking the swabs out of their containers, and I'm gonna show you what those look like, so you guys can see. This is an Embark swab. It's open right now. The swab side is on this side, and the tail end is on the side that you open so that you're not grabbing the swab. It also has directions on it, on how they work, so that, you know, you're not like, oh no, whatever. They also have something called an EM code on them, and then there's a space for you to write the dog's name on it. So this morning, before we even did this, we went through and I went on my Embark account and I pulled up all of my swabs, and in order that they were on, I then took them and put them in birth order and labeled them so that I would have them all. And so then I'm taking the tail ends, and I'll show you guys in a bit, you'll end up seeing this. I'm taking the tail ends and I'm sticking them tail end up into the Play-Doh so that they can't fall over, and so that they're set with the same color or a appropriate replacement color to match their puppy. The other thing that swabs have that you'll often see is they have an EM code, but they also have a swab code. So there's actually two separate numbers. So the other thing that you're gonna see is when we get to this point, Emily's gonna come in here with me, and we're gonna take a picture of each dog with their collar on, and we're gonna take multiple shots of them and or a video of them, specifically of me swabbing them, so that you can see all of their physical markings. So the deal is that I had some questions in the Embark DNA group the other day, and it was about why you wouldn't wait until the dogs were microchipped. And so I'm gonna kind of go over that for you guys. But the reason why it wouldn't matter if they're microchipped or not is sometimes you definitely get tests that require a microchip number in order to complete. And you can take your swab to a vet and have them do your swab for you. That's totally something that you can pay a vet to do. However, no offense to any of my vets, but I've swabbed way more dogs than them, just because I do this every day. And with that, when you fill out health result and health testing information, you put the microchip number on there, but they don't scan your dog. I've had one vet in like my living memory that has scanned a dog before testing it. And that's not a big deal, but it means though that like if your results were ever to come into question, then they're gonna retest the dog. You're not typically gonna just take somebody's word that that was in fact the actual microchip. If it comes down to that and somebody was questioning Embark results, you would actually do like a full legal chain of custody in order to backtrack the tested dog and make sure that it was all correct. So it really doesn't matter that we're testing this early and or without a microchip. It's not gonna cancel out the validity of these tests, especially because I'm very adamant about recording it and making sure that we have pictures and videos of all of it, so that if it ever did come into question, like what did I do, change everybody's collars this morning and like paint everybody different colors so that they would look different so that I could possibly forge a test when I don't even know what dog I'm keeping? Seems a little excessive, especially if anybody's ever had a litter or, you know, anything like that. So I mean, it doesn't make any sense to be doing any of that stuff. And so while people are dishonest all the time, this would have to be something that you planned out so excessively that it wouldn't even be logical to do it. So again, if you guys have any more questions, Jay asked who's the loudest. I would honestly say when wanted to be Warbun's probably the loudest, but he never wants to be loud. The most vocal in general is Jerk, which is how he got his name. And then Hellcat and Martini are probably
Seawolf
and
Stratus.
Seawolf.
All of them.
Yeah, okay, so maybe just those four. Basically everybody but Hatches and Bogie are the ones that are just going to scream bloody murder, and they might seem the loudest, but they're not really. They're just the most opinionated at this point in time. What are we at timeline-wise?
We were at 120. We started the timer at 106.
Okay. So we've got a couple more minutes for you guys. Again, if you have any more questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. I'm looking at the setup.
The fun
I'm gonna
thing is-
move the YouTube camera so that you guys can see into the pen better. You guys on Instagram kind of lucked out. You guys got a better view in general. Can you hold that real quick?
The fun thing is Clara is supervising this.
Yeah, and so if I have to, you might hear her get angry. She might have to leave the pen. I'm not really sure. I haven't decided yet. It depends on if she tries to save them. Which seems kind of mean, but here we are. She can't contaminate the sample. So then the other reason we had to wait until they were a little bit older is we had to be able to be conscious and awake and everything like that. Good, now you guys can see them. You guys can also see the swabs. So you guys can see them on the climb to the side. So maybe I'll try and see if I can make it so Instagram can see them too. This is like a camera balancing act. I'm really sorry, YouTube. Instagram, I think you're gonna have to suffer. You'll see them in a second, but yeah. So we're just gonna wait a couple minutes for them. What we did do in the interim to make sure that they'd be okay with this process is I have some regular swabs, like cotton swabs, applicators, or Q-tips, whatever you feel like calling them, that you guys can see right here, these guys. And what we've been doing for the last 3 days is when they're asleep in a state like this, if they're still sleeping and or don't talk about it, we have been swabbing them with this and then just chucking it. And so then that way we've been able to get them acclimated to it. You guys can see though, I'm gonna take a swab, that there's a huge difference in the size of the swab. And there's not really Embark swabs just like laying about. I actually do have some spare ones, but they're not sterile and I can't clean them between trying to swab each dog. Because of course I have spare Embark swabs, like old ones that we used for videos and stuff, not new ones. Don't come hunting me down because you want an Embark swab. But yeah, so if in the next couple minutes, if you guys have any questions, I'm trying to think of what else we could cover for you guys. You guys can also see too, they are changing colors. So that's definitely something. Clara was probably about as dark as Hellcat, maybe a little bit lighter when she was born. So that also kind of gives you guys an idea. Do you want to put Eddie in the back corner? Emily had me make a stuffed Eddie, so if anybody in Embark ends up watching this later, Emily asked for stuff for puppies for go home and things like that, because every once in a while we get merchandise and other things because we bother the crud out of them. But I made them a stuffed Eddie. They can have their stuffed Eddie. So in case anybody's curious too, this is like a weird us-ism. When the TDDP started, it was really late at night one day. It was like 2 in the morning. I don't really remember which of us suggested it or came up with the name actually, but Eddie is the Embark dog, and we named him Eddie. Embark didn't name him Eddie. We started calling him Eddie in private, and then we went to a meeting with them, and we were like, well, yeah, so we want Eddie things. And do you guys sell like Eddie merchandise? And they're like, who's Eddie? And we're like, oh, Eddie is your dog. Your yellow dog, that's Eddie. And so now some of the Embark team has started to call him Eddie too,
Yes.
Which is really entertaining because it's not actually just around us. At first we thought it was just around us, and it's not. It's actually like with other people.
They actually shared it with their entire marketing team.
Right. So this is Eddie. He's our friend. So anyway, and then that's also why if you were looking at the outside of our whelping box, and you guys will see it as they get bigger because it's not on the inside, it's definitely on the outside. But the sides of the whelping box all have dogs that are colored the same as our dogs are, and they're all like jumping or walking through grass based off of how everybody was born because I'm super extra. And but you'll see that because it'll be behind the potty area as they get bigger. But I always refer to them. I'm like, well, our little Eddies, our little different colored Eddies, and that's what I'm talking about. It's not like some like weird dude named Eddie that we're friends with. Let's see, 25. So 5 more minutes? 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes.
Okay.
If we're shooting for the 30.
30, okay. I don't know, do you think we should shoot for 30 or 20? Technically, we can do 20, but...
Can we do 25?
Yeah, we can do 25.
Okay, let's do
I don't
25.
care. Okay, and we'll do 25 and we'll do it in order. Like, Jerk didn't drink more and, was it War?
War actually went back.
War went
But-
back. That
However, that was at 12:53 when I started their timer, but when
Okay.
hatches came off, that was at 1:06. That's when I restarted the timer.
Okay, so we just won't
everybody.
start with hatches. We'll start with some of the other
Right, we
things.
can start
Okay.
with, we can probably start with Bogie. I remember he was off.
he was
Martini was off.
Okay, go figure. But yeah, so if anybody has any questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask, because right now we're basically just waiting on time, and this is something that anybody that does an Embark kit, you will sympathize with, and the best time to do a grown dog or a dog that you kennel at night or something like that is to send them off and let them go to sleep or something, and then just do it first thing in the morning. They can't have anything communal in their mouth, which is what makes puppies so hard, and also part of why we waited. I wanted to just do it on a weekend, so I had all day to do it, and I didn't necessarily get boxed in, because hypothetically, if somebody sticks something in their mouth, like their sibling or whatever, I can't swab them. So we're actually watching them too to make sure that they don't start numbing each other. Like Hatch is here, my man. If he starts numbing this bed, we're in trouble. But
cuddle the
you cuddle the bed only. But you have to make sure that there's nothing in their mouth for 20 to 30 minutes. Technically, we always tell people be safe with 30. I think Embark typically tends to tell people 30. But because none of us can count, technically it could be a little bit lower. If you want to be super safe, like if it was an adult dog, I always separate them for an hour. Not playing around with that stuff. It also says swab for, because I can't read.
60 seconds.
60 seconds or up to 60 seconds. When I swab Clara and when I swab dogs for Sundog training, I swab for a minute and a half. I don't play around with that nonsense. If I can avoid sending in a second swab, I'm going to. And then to kind of cover that stuff too, a lot of times we get people, they'll ask about, because this came up in a private message, they'll ask about how long the turnaround time is and stuff like that for the swabs. It doesn't go off of when you buy the kit, it goes off when you send the kit in. So for example, I realized I bought these and activated them, which means I got them and then finally got to activating them April 28th. So I've had these for ages. So this is 8 swabs that hypothetically would have been in front of somebody else that aren't yet. And then they will be. And so the deal is like with Black Friday, for example, people might buy swabs for Black Friday, but if they don't give them to anybody till Christmas and then those people don't swab them until later, they won't technically be in front of you. But this is also why the turnaround time fluctuates so much, and you get people that, especially in the Embark group, they're like, oh, well, my kid only took a week and a half, and then somebody else is like, my kid took 6 weeks and I'm gonna die. Which I sympathize with. In case anybody wants to know how much I sympathize with it, FedEx lost 10 swabs for me, including one for a dog that passed away while the swabs were lost. We still have never found them, and we had to re-swab everybody. And it had nothing to do with Embark, but like, you know, I had to wait a really long time. So also, if you don't activate your swab before you mail it off, it goes into the abandonment rescue homeless pile, as it has been named now, in part by us. Sorry, we cause a lot of drama. And that's because when they scan it in, it doesn't have a home. It's not assigned to anybody, so they go, So make sure you activate your stuff before you put it in the mail. I always try and activate them before I even think about opening them or using them, because then you have it, you're done, you don't have to worry about it. What else? Turnaround time technically is anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks on the average. I know that's very large average. Welcome to my life. We live with large averages. That said, breeder kits tend to get prioritized because people are doing stuff like this. However, there's also a very distinct difference between different kinds of kits. So this is also why if you have a breed research group or something that's partnered with Embark, you definitely want to reach out to them. If you guys have any questions, you can message the TDP, you can message Embark, whatever. You can message me, I'll direct you where you need to go. But for example, TDP kits get prioritized. So we tend to see our swabs turn around in 2 weeks. occasionally they need to be reviewed, different things happen. We also have shipping, stuff like that. But we get our kits reviewed a lot faster because they know that we're using the kits to place the dogs, and or that we're using it in order for them to even receive their registration paperwork. So some Tamaskan registers and things like that, you're required to have parentage verification before you can even issue your registration paperwork. So you can't register your puppies until you have that. So for that to work, you need to do a whole nother test. Well, one of the things that we ended up betaing with the TDDP is now if both parents are tested, we can do parentage verification with Embark, partnered with the TDDP, and issue certificates and stuff like that, that we can double check that stuff so that then those people can get registration. Even if all their results aren't ready, we can check for that. And anybody that's doing purebred dogs where the dog breed is already profiled, you can use a breeder kit. It just does health results and confirms your breed. But for other people like us, when your breed doesn't have a profile, if you want to be able to see those mixes, you actually have to do the standard consumer kit. And so those kits can't just be sped up. You have to be part of a research project for them to get prioritized like a breeder kit. You have to be able to notify Embark so that they know. Otherwise, when they scan it in, it's just going to look like a pet kit, and it's going to look like you just went crazy scanning a bunch of pets. So we're there yet? Almost there.
We're at the 25-minute
Okay.
mark, unless you want to.
I'm going to check YouTube and see if there's any more questions really quick, because it'll probably take me. Okay. So, no, okay, this is one thing, and this is actually my personal pet project, Ashley Poe. So, right now, the way that Embark works, and this will get us to the 5-minute mark, in order to profile a breed accurately without using parentage verification and other things in their system, etc., for it to just scan on its own, you need about 1,000 dogs on average, unless the breed has a very unique signature that doesn't have any additives to it. And this is a simplistic version, but this is literally like my little baby within the TDDP. In an ideal world, we would actually have a stamp, or I call it a sticker, Embark hates it, but I call it a sticker, where when you scan a Tamaskan, it would pop up and say, this dog is a Tamaskan. However, our breed composition is very fluid at this point. We are looking at characteristics, traits, and behaviors, not at breed composition. So when you're adding in dogs like Headland Huskies as outcrosses, or even a Groenendael as an outcross, you're getting dogs that can breed to type in 1 to 2 generations, possibly 3, depending on how distant the variance is. But that means, though, that we have more than, and this is just for an example, 5 breeds making up our breed.
You want to grab Hellcat?
Yep. Hey, Missy. Oh, no, you don't.
She's like, but I want mom.
She's like, but I want a mommy. No. Alright, we're gonna swab Hellcat just because she might scream bloody murder, but here we are. Hey, you gonna put this in your mouth? I know. You gonna put that in your mouth? She's like, no, I don't. There you go. Oh, come on. I know. You being my little complicated pain in my butt? There you go. There you go. Start my timer. Oh, really? Yeah, let's open your mouth, please. Yum, yum, yum. Swab. This is, so in case you guys want to know how hard it is to swab a puppy. Really, Hellcat? Stop spitting it out, babe. This is how we have to not contaminate our swabs. And the idea is to get it in their jowl and the side. The good thing with puppies is that they don't have any teeth yet, so they can't really numb it down a lot, so they can gum it and get it really gooey. Anyway, back to my other question while I do this, and Emily's just gonna have to tell me when I hit about a minute and a half.
Jerk from.
Sucking on somebody?
Yes. Okay, here you go, buddy. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry.
But let's make up and decide that, for argument's sake, the Tamaskan breed consists of 5 different breeds. In order for a breed signature to work, in the simplest terms of how that works, all across multiple dogs, that signature and the amount of percentage for each breed would have to be the same and uniform across everybody. I think we're probably good. That's been over a minute.
That's 60 seconds. Here, take jerk.
Hi, buddy. Ugh. So then when you're done with the swab, you have to take the head off the swab.
You want to grab
Now I got it. And you have to flip it upside down and put it in the purple goo that doesn't always look purple. Don't freak out. And you shake it up. Ah, and your arms move like crazy. And then you're good. And then jerk, you're orange. Hi, buddy. Oh, look at this. Why don't you suck on it? Oh, it's something to put in your mouth. And so, I know a little bit. Jay was asking who was the loudest.
I'm gonna go save Hellcat real quick.
From one.
Oh, never mind.
She's fine. Just count my timer for me.
What phone's it for?
I can't.
Well, I have it.
So back to that question. If you want a breed signature, basically everybody has to have the same percentages across the board, and there's no way for that to happen in our breed right now. Thanks, Jerk. You're super loud, buddy. So in case anybody wanted sympathy for anything that we do in our lives, we might skip ENS today. This might be good stress enough. Hi, can you put it back in? Oh, I know, you're so upset about it. You are.
We got 50 seconds.
See, there you go. He's like, that's not mommy.
We're good, I mean, unless you want to keep it in there
I'm
for a
gonna
few
keep it
minutes.
in there a second because he's just sucking on it. He's not actually spitting it out. He's crying bloody murder as he sucks and holds on to it. There we go. And you can go back by your mommy. So you guys. So basically right now we can't have we can't really have an accurate breed signature without it giving us false positives. And that would do nobody any good. It also would hurt the breed way more than it would help it. Anybody
Starting
Seawolf?
though.
Hi, Pudge. It's like, why am I saying that? Good morning, Pudge Pudgy.
Why you call me Pudge?
Because you are Pudge King. Why don't you put this in your mouth for me? Yeah, there we go. Are you one of the back puppies?
He's not the back puppy, he's a
You're an
upright
puppy. Uff. There we go. The best place to swab them to, even for the puppies, is in the side of the mouth, all the way in the back, basically in their lower cheek. Let's see here, Andy. So you're gonna be like, what? I have officially sent messages to 2 individuals that they are 3 individuals that they are 100% getting a puppy. They are people that are either looking for a working dog, myself is a 4th, and then I have 2 other people that own white elk dogs that I approved ages and ages ago. They are the only ones that are set. Everybody else, while I do have some amazing people that I am very interested in, and I could be wrong on my numbers because I'm not looking at my computer, they are not set. I have not sent out all of the 8 messages to say people are approved. Applications are going to be up through tonight. I know. And the reason for that is because I'm looking for the best homes, not the fastest. I do have enough people that are amazing, but if you're interested, now's the time. And I explained this to somebody the other day that I was talking to on the phone for like kind of an interview, but could you stop please?
You can get 3 more seconds on her.
Yum, 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 yum.
You can lick it, that's okay.
But, what was I gonna say? I'm looking for the best possible homes, and as this is my first Tamaskan litter, not my first litter, but my
Okay,
first
well, sure
Tamaskan litter.
Keep it in there.
I'll try and get it.
He's good. You got some fur.
Yeah, I got Seawolf fluff.
It's okay. They can take a fur sample too.
Like, if it doesn't work, just use that fur. But
Bogie.
I had the luxury, since this is my first Tamaskan litter, that I didn't open my waiting list in advance. So I didn't want to also promise dogs, oh, nice convenient poof. I didn't want to promise dogs that I didn't have either. AI litters don't always have a high success rate or a success rate at all. Typically, you're going to have 1 to 5 puppies. Usually 1 to 3 is even more common. We haven't had a lot of successful AI litters in the breed, so I was not going to take a full 10 people on a waiting list and then like crush people's hopes and dreams. Because especially like if I only ended up with 1 dog, I'd probably keep it and you guys would all just be looking at cute puppies. So yeah, it just kind of depended. So these guys should be 0. Based off of Arrow and Clara's results, these guys should not have wolf content. That said, Embark has a 5% margin of error. I love Embark with all my heart. They are the most accurate thing out there. However, this kind of goes back to the Tamaskan breed makeup thing. You can get false positives, and also you can get a different combination of breeds that will combine to give you different results. And so we could also end up with false positives on these puppies as far as content goes. It's completely possible to show a false positive. And so that also comes into play when homing these puppies, that it should be non-existent. However, I actually haven't really publicly said it before at all, because we could technically get a false positive, and I don't want any dogs endangered or possibly in a situation that wouldn't be good for them because of that false positive, if it happens.
Puppy.
You're an upright puppy. Oh, you're also an angry puppy. Oh, can you put this in your mouth? He's like, no, you can't. Oh, what is that? Oh, I must spit it out. So this is actually the first time I've ever really gotten into that. I don't usually talk about content as far as our breed goes, and there's actually a couple reasons for that. I'm going to get in here so that you guys can actually see me swab him, and so that I can keep these guys from popping back and forth. But I'm in. Ah, I'm out. Give me that before we get your snot on it. Really? Yum, yum, yum. Busted. In. But you just trying to make my life difficult? Yeah. Don't make me drop it. I don't have spares. You guys all came out, so we don't have any spare swabs. Let's tray flipped over. No? I don't usually talk about Clara's content. That's where I was going with this, before somebody decided to scream bloody murder. Give me this. I know. But the breed has a mixture of content levels, and so it causes a lot of headache for people with and without content for people to basically label it and discuss it. And this also comes up when we're swabbing dogs. He's fine. You see him? She can lick you, but you can't lick the swab. Look at that. Oh, said before, was it? I forgot what I was gonna tell you. It was important and it was kind of cool, but I completely lost it. So maybe I'll think about it later. Are we close?
Yeah, like another 5 seconds and we're good.
Oh no, you don't. 5 seconds, bro.
Good.
Go live your angry life. Oh my god.
That poor cloud.
He's just so angry that we had to use green for him instead of gray.
And then I guess you're gonna grab Martini that's right behind you.
Yeah, and that's why I sat down. I knew that they were starting to scooch around, and I didn't want anybody mixed up. Oh no, you don't. You stay away from that puppy. Well, he didn't go through all of this for you to lick his face. Oh, that's what it was. This is important. I don't usually talk about content because it hurts other kennels, and or it causes other questions, and it also causes a lot of people to not understand that even if you're breeding multiple no content litters, and or you have no content dogs, that you very well could breed a content litter at a later date. So for example, we've talked about in the past how hard it was to find a stud that would work for Clara and how difficult that was. In order to help other people that might very well be facing the same or a similar problem, I might end up having a content litter at some point in time with whatever dog I keep, or, really, Martini? Or with a stud that I retain rights to, or something like that. Really?
You still have another 30 seconds, buddy.
I know, and he's like, I don't think so.
I don't.
You're gonna have to, bro. No, Clara, you can't have him. She's like, Mom, give him back. Well, you are just the bee's knees, aren't you? And just so you guys know, because you can't really see, I'm not really opening his mouth, but I'm putting my finger on the side of his mouth so I can tell when he starts to open it. So I can shove the swab in it. There we go. And once they get it in their mouth, they're usually okay. It actually is very much like their nursing reflexes. Of course, no milk is coming out, which kind of tends to irk them after a certain amount of time. But usually, if you can get it in the back corner of their mouth too, you don't have to hold their mouth shut or anything. You can just keep it in there, and then it's not going anywhere. Nom, nom, nom. And surprisingly, at this age, with how big these guys are, it like super fits. Yeah, I know. Nom, nom, nom. Super spit. Get all that spit on there. Jolly McJolly pants.
We're good unless you want to keep that in there for a few more seconds.
Keep it in for a second. They're also super talky now, which is crazy fun. But so then you guys can see now, you take the swab, you flip it upside down. Now that I'm not in any kind of rush, you do this, there's like a purpley, sometimes it's more blue. I don't know, maybe we're all colorblind, whatever. And you shake it up.
Make sure the screw's on.
Yeah, you want to make sure this is screwed on.
It's not a force
Please
field.
make sure. I said that once. It's going to come back to bite me for ages.
The purple liquid is a stabilizing liquid for the DNA, and it is not a force field, guys. So it doesn't keep the swab from being unscrewed.
Yeah, and so if it goes away and the swab dries out, the sample's not going to work anymore. You're going to get it all the way wherever it's going, and then it's going to be like, I'm angry with you. Hi, I know. I woke you up. And I am going to shove this in your mouth. Ugh. There we go. And this is my little Einstein. Are you my little smart one? You're small, but you're feisty. And he's like, I know that is not a nipple. Yeah, and he's like, that's not milk. Get that thing out of my mouth. Yeah? I know. We gotta get it in the corner of your mouth and then you'll be happy. He's like, bite me. Oh my goodness, I can't even kiss you. We'll contaminate. Let's try you on your back.
Yeah, because you're a back puppy.
You're back. He's like, not right now, I'm not.
I'm a note puppy.
I'm a note puppy. You know, you're gonna throw a hissy fit when we gotta do the cheek swab.
Oh, right.
So you guys know, we're doing Embark now, but there are actually a couple tests that I want done on all these guys that Embark does not do. Really? Could you not, please? I'm gonna poke you in your eye on accident, you little wiggle worm. Here, look. This is the toddler, guys. This is full-fledged toddle life. You're not going by the milk bar. It's like, but I want it. I don't care. You're gonna be the one I have to re-swab. Little wiggle worm. In case anybody wants to know what's the hardest thing to swab, it's an angry puppy. This is necessary stress, bro. You're just gonna have to tolerate it. There you go. Got it. There you go. On now. Guy angry. Just like your mother.
He's not actually, he's just screaming bloody murder. He's actually okay. We got 10 seconds.
Face around for you guys so you can see.
We got 10 seconds. He has another 50.
There's spit all over my hands.
You need that spit on the swab, buddy.
You're foaming at the mouth, bro.
This is adorable. Another 30 good, buddy.
It takes a special kind of person, y'all.
This is very, very angry.
In case you were curious too about how upsetting it is, you can notice that Clara didn't care until just now, and now she's like, wait, no, you're fine. Good job, Mama.
If you can get another 15 on him.
And with adult dogs like Clara, you guys can look back at our Facebook page and stuff. I actually kind of I didn't hold her mouth shut, but I basically just let her hold the swab in her mouth. That's a good mama. For these guys, there's no way I would ever even dream of doing it that way. I'm sticking it in the back of their cheek. I can feel it in the back of their cheek. I've practiced, and I know it's not in their throat. I know that they're just getting to this stage where they're opinionated about everything. And they're not happy, and the only thing that they know how to do is scream about being unhappy.
He's good.
You are good, I know, you
Poor Hatches.
poor thing. He's like, oh, I'll be done with you.
Ah.
Hey, guess what? You don't have to die angry yet. Maybe some other day.
Hang on. Did you use...
I got Warbun back. That's pink. That's Martini.
Oh, okay, this is red.
Yeah. Emily's doubting my Play-Doh skills here.
No, I'm doubting the Play-Doh colors. I'm like...
Yeah, the pink
wait
and the
a
red.
second.
The pink and the red are really close.
Yeah, I had a double take just now, and I'm like, hang on.
So Warbun is a back bun.
He is a back
He's
bun.
a back bun. Let's see if we can
Come on, chill bun.
be chill. He's like, not today, Satan. Let's see if we can get him to... No?
And there's his voice.
We're going to try and get him to calm down first because he's usually pretty chill on his back. Because I'm over screaming Bun. Hey, Hatches, you milk the other way. He's backwards because she flipped him over. Let's try it upright. Be this way? Which way you want to be? Because you're the last one.
I want to be at the milk bar.
I know, buddy. I also would like food. We're all just gonna have to suffer.
We suffer together, buddy.
Except for Emily, I think she ate breakfast.
I did.
That's how I feel about it. I know, screamy beast. If you've been asking questions too, obviously I haven't been looking. I'm really sorry. We'll totally get to them, but are there any? No.
Don't lick him.
Lick his butt.
Lick his butt.
You can check his back end. So typically too, just so you guys know, the reason I'm letting her touch their back end is one, they can't contaminate that end. I don't care about that end. And two, when they wake up after nursing, they usually have to eliminate. That's something. Guess when your dog has to go to the bathroom. So that way she can stimulate and or take care of that, and I don't actually have to put them down or let them go, and it might solve my problem. We're just gonna have to be brave, buddy. And at this point too, so you guys know, actually once I'm done with it, it wouldn't really matter if I put them back in their Play-Doh, and you can see some of them have Play-Doh in the back end, and Embark is gonna be like, you Play-Doh fiend, if I don't fish it out before. Come here. Yeah. Oh, poop breath. Puppy breath. But at this point, because I've swabbed the right dogs, and it's all on camera which one I took from which thing, then I know, and screaming bloody murder, the swab numbers are on the swabs. So when they go to the lab, it'll be to the right account. Mm-hmm.
Almost done, buddy. Almost done.
This is a lot more spit than you got in practice. He's like, I'm gonna
Give him 3 more seconds. Alright, he's good whenever.
He's good right now.
Where are you
That's my
headed,
foot,
Jerk?
buddy. He's like, back to the milk bar.
Where are you guys going?
Hey, Jerk.
I'm
This
asleep
is
right here.
also something he has always done. He always like partially climbs up her. And you'll also notice we took away the pig rails. They have them at night now, but they're not gonna have them during the day all the time anymore because she's not laying on them or sleeping on them or anything ridiculous like that anymore. And yeah, and so I don't really have to worry about that. Okay, so now we have a whole bunch of Embark swabs. So let's see here. Now you guys saw my butt. I'll show all of you Insta people so you guys can see how this is laid out. They're all on Play-Doh. They were all swab out, and now they're all swab in, so I didn't miss anybody. We swabbed everybody. They're all sealed. I just have to get the Play-Doh out so Embark doesn't stab me in the face.
Well, to be honest, they knew about the Play-Doh thing.
They did know about the Play-Doh.
We warned them.
actually talked to them about this and about leaving the swabs exposed to the air, things like that, just because I don't typically tend to swab all the puppies, so we actually wanted to make sure that if we had to actually put somebody down, if we thought they were that distressed that we needed to put them back and come back to it, that the swab wouldn't be contaminated if it was opened as long as we followed certain protocols. So we were kind of on top of all of that. Yes, it is. I made it because that's Eddie. So for anybody that's watching now that wasn't watching before, the big plushy thing in the back is the Embark logo. His name is Eddie. We named him a couple years ago. That's his name. Embark has now accepted that that's his name. The marketing team knows that that's his name. So Yeah, I'm waiting one day. I love Embark, by the way, guys, in case you didn't know. But I'm waiting one day. I was telling Emily, I'm like, they're not going to want to call him Eddie because we're going to be like, the TDDP demands kits for using the name of Eddie. And I was like, so they're going to call him like Eduardo or something because I'm like snarky. So they're going to be like, well, Eduardo needs this. And I'm like, no, Eddie needs this. But anyway, so yeah, we have a really good relationship with Embark. They're a ton of fun, and they're really good. They're also a really small company too, so them and Fitbark guys, I mean, like, they're really tiny. Both of those companies are really tiny, and I work really closely with both of them for different things, and I mean, they're both like complete riots to talk to because you're talking to actual individual people. Like, I don't remember who it was. I'm sorry if they end up seeing this and I didn't remember your name. Somebody for Embark for Breeders messaged me the other day and asked my opinion on something because I've been commenting. And they were like, oh, hey, can you give us your opinion on this? And I was like, yeah, of course I can. By the way, if you ever want more opinions or whatever, you can message me here, or if I don't answer you, like, shoot a message to the TDDP page. And they were like, I knew I recognized your name. So yeah, it's a little ridiculous. We also have pictures of Clara, like, mauling some of their staff with love. Multiple times, like her either like sprawling on the floor with them or like giving them like crazy kisses and everything from going to visit, because we visited different offices a couple times. We visited some older Texas offices, which they don't really have anymore, quite a few times, and met quite a few of the staff. So one day we'll go to Boston and visit them in Boston. Huh, Clara, you want to go visit them in Boston? She's like, yeah, I love Boston. Boston's great. I could be in New England.
So the Embark staff that had contacted you the other day is...
Yeah, it is. It's John, I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go look at my messages. I'd have to go see. Hold on, let me see who messaged. It was like one of the head of marketing people or something like that. I'm like, I don't remember, guys. It's not an insult. This is why I'm also like, I think it's funny when they don't remember my name, because I'm like, I don't remember yours either. Yeah, it was John. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's all the Embark swabbing. If anybody has any more questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. One other thing, the consumer kits still all come with these, right? The tags?
Yes.
Okay, so one other thing that I'll show you guys really
There's
quick.
two types of consumer kits if you want to cover that.
Yeah, I can. There's multiple consumer kits, but the consumer kits with breed identification come with these cute little Embark tags, and then by looking up the info on the back, it'll take you to that dog's account. If it's public or private, you'll just only be able to see a certain amount if it's private. But that's something that they come with. The breeder kits do not come with that. Now, we get questioned about this a lot, and because they used to, the reason they don't anymore is because of the breeder kit cost. Embark, what we're all paying for kits is so close to the cost. They are a research company that now offers a commercial product, not a commercial company that happens to offer something useful. So their goal is to test all the dogs. We joke about that all the time, but it really is to test all the dogs. And so their kit costs, when you get a kit that's like $99, there's typically something else involved, and or they're after some kind of research thing or some kind of promotional thing where the cost that it takes them to run the kit is less important than the outreach or the research itself, or like there's a grant or something like that involved. So like people ask all the time for discounts on kits, but like they price the kits at a very affordable rate. Other companies that offer stuff that's similar to this, or that offer things like their full genome sequencing is $800 right now?
They are still looking at offering whole genome sequencing. At first, they were offering it for $350 for
And then
a
it
portion
went
of it,
For the whole thing.
and then they upped the price because
I just want the price.
I think it's like 1,000.
Okay, it might be about 1,000. The only other company before about 2 months ago that was even offering that was something called Darwin's Ark. And your turnaround time was not even remotely close to what Embark's is. I actually am not, and I can explain this later why, but I am not genome sequencing the entire litter. That's excessive on quite a few different levels. However, whichever dog I keep, I probably will do the genome sequencing on. And I may do it on Clara because her chip is a 2, I don't know. And there's different chips. We get this question a lot. Embark will update your results for free, and they will actually run through that process themselves. They do not need you to tell them to run the test again. It just takes time. But they will actually run them, and they will update results for free. Yeah, the Fitbarks are amazing. Clara and I have been using them. We got them on Kickstarter. It's been ages. We still use them. All of our Sundog training dogs have them, and I work with them pretty closely as well because I'm a dog geek. But back to the Embark thing. That they will update your results and everything, but like Clara's had her results updated. I don't ask for it. They get to it when they get to it, and then they go, hey, look, there's stuff that's actually valid for your dog, and they update it. However, they can only update as far as the chip allows. So this is something that people don't tend to understand, that the chip is kind of like your computer, okay? So like you get to a point and you can update your iPhone or you can update your computer, but at a certain point you're gonna get to this point where your technology surpasses the actual physical capabilities of your device. And that's basically what a chip is like, is that they're going to upgrade the chip so they can add more tests, but different tests take up a different amount of space. So they also pick and choose what tests are on which chip to basically be able to optimize the updates on those chips. But that's how that works. So I've thought about doing the full genome sequencing. The way that that works is they're actually mapping like everything that there is to map that we're aware of at this point, let's be fair, because technology changes. But they're mapping everything, and so I very well may do that with Clara because it doesn't negate or change the chip, but it's kind of a different way of getting to some of the same results. So then that way, as Clara gets older, or I mean eventually she'll pass away, then we still have that data, and we don't have to worry about a chip going out of date and not being able to take another sample. It would be much more complex for them to get any results off of it or anything like that, but it would just be able to give us a lot more information. And in a breed this young, where we're trying to build a good baseline to build off of, it could possibly make a pretty good addition to our research. So that's what's up with that. And there's Play-Doh everywhere. Any other questions before I turn this off? Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, at $1,000 a dog, it would be $8,000 to genome sequence the entire litter. So let's just talk about that for a second and how I can't do that. And then you people wonder how puppy prices are like expensive, and that's how puppy prices are expensive. This kit, I ended up getting, I did a TDDP discount, so they were $129. $139 a kit. Stuff. And so that's for like the breed results as well as the health testing. And then there are multiple consumer kits, like Emily was saying earlier. You can get one that's just breed results. You can get one that's just health. No, you can't get just the health anymore. You can get one that's just breed results, and then you can also get one that's breed and health results.
Correct.
Boom. They tried for a little while and just did the health results, and people like freaked out, and it was weird, and there were mistakes, and people couldn't read. Also, I'm going to say, anytime you guys ever want, if you end up trying to embark a dog, whether it's like my dog, which would be superfluous, and they would catch you and be like, why are you testing this dog again? But if you're trying to do that, you can shoot me messages, or you can shoot the TDDP messages. You can go, there's an Embark DNA discussions group that the Embark team and Emily admin.
I don't work for Embark.
She doesn't work for Embark, but she does admin their group with the people that work for Embark. But Emily does not work for Embark. She just spends entirely too much time
I live
embarking.
on the Embark group.
But yeah, so if you guys ever have questions or anything like that, then please feel free to ask. But yeah, and I'm gonna check Instagram because I don't know if you guys have more questions. All I see is my butt.
Seawolf is okay. He's just in a corner.
Right. But I think we're gonna close this off. If anybody does have any more questions, you can feel free to shoot us a message or anything like that. That's totally fine. But we're gonna turn these off, and then we'll go back live on YouTube as our stream, like just as our normal thing. But now I have everybody's Embark results recorded, and then we can send them in, and then we'll share stuff with you. If you guys are interested too, if you're on this feed or you're seeing this later, Clara's genetic report and Arrow's genetic report are both on our website, on our litter page, as well as a litter mock-up. So what we did was we worked with Embark, and this is a new beta mock-up that we did for the TDDP. This is the first litter we've done it with, where we actually looked at everybody's genetic information for Arrow and Clara, and we determined what was and wasn't possible for them to produce for puppies, and what the percentage chance of that was for each individual puppy, and that's all written down and all available. So you guys can definitely go check that out, and it goes through everything from health results to coat colors, and basically anything that Embark can test for is on there. And there's actually also, like, I think S. locus is on there too. Embark does not currently test for S. locus, and so that's part of us having to do other swabs for other things, but everybody's going to get tested for those additional things that we look for. If you guys want to know why or what I'm testing for, I test to NTC standards and or the highest breed club standards that I can find, and then possibly beyond, depending on my personal opinions on what I feel like I need to know before I place dogs and or pick a dog for myself. So you can see all that, and there is like a write-up that it's complex enough that you guys can definitely like get all the information that you need, but it's also simplified enough, and I've like even highlighted different things so that like if you're like, I don't even know what those words mean, you can be like, oh, it means my dog won't have this. And it's even highlighted that way so that you guys can see it. But just feel free to shoot us a message and ask us questions if you have anything else. Otherwise, you guys saw all the screaming demons get swapped. So have a nice day. Oh, it looks like I could only do it for an hour on Instagram, so I guess that one ended. Oh well. Shenanigans.
Did it automatically end?
Yeah, it must have automatically ended. I don't know when. I think about when my butt was getting out, so I don't feel that bad about it.
Wow, it's already been an hour?
Probably.
Oh yeah, it has been.
Well, yeah, because I mean, we had to wait for half an hour for them to even get swabbed.
Right. And that's
If I would have been smart, I would have stopped it like then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, because that one started at 1?
Yeah. Why couldn't my video be shared? We'll have to check that out in a second. That takes more brain power than I currently have. You're fine. Thanks, Clara.